Have you ever been confused about how to get the perfect box pleat? How to get it just right? Well, I have the solution that will help you make the perfect box pleat every time. I'm Aletha of Ribbons to Zippers. Welcome back to my channel where I indulge in the wonderful art of sewing to help sewers like you create gorgeous garments for all the occasions that you want to cherish. So wherever you are on your sewing journey, I'm here to help you and share tips and techniques and my own years of experience with you. First, let's talk about the types of pleats. There are so many different types of pleats that add to the functionality of your garment, like the inverted pleat or the kick pleat. Their function is to give a straight skirt room for your legs so that you can walk. And if you would like a tutorial on how to make a kick pleat, take a look at this tutorial. I think that you'll like it. And then there are some pleats that are purely decorative, like the knife pleats or the accordion pleats. Now, knife pleats and accordion pleats, while they make gorgeous garments, they are completely different. And explaining them will take a whole video at a later date. But today, we are going to talk about the beautiful box pleat. The box pleat falls into the flat pleat category. That's because, like the knife pleat and the inverted pleat, the top or the starting point of the pleat is flattened out and then stitched and released. Now, when I say released, what I mean is that if you are using a basting stitch to hold your pleats while you are constructing your garment, when you remove the basting stitch, the pleats are released. Or you may want to top stitch the pleats to a certain point and then release them. Also keep in mind, box pleats can be pressed to create a really sharp, lasting crease from waist to hem, or they can just be relaxed. Now, I want to show you what I call the mechanics of the box pleat, which looks like this. I have this sample fabric, and for this illustration I am going to use a 30-inch waist as an example, and I want 4-inch box pleats. So I am going to plot out my equally spaced measurement across the width of the fabric, and where I put my pin is my placement lines. Now, this is what I call the mechanics of the pleat. We have the pleat depth, and that's how wide or deep you want the pleat to be. Now, when you fold your pleat to the placement line, you create 3 important parts. You create the outer fold, the underfold, and the inner fold. And when you continue this process along the top of your fabric, then you create a box pleat that is called a deep box pleat, which means the underfold is exactly the same width as the pleat depth. Now, you may be wondering, now that I have my 4-inch box pleats ready to go, and I measure 30 inches plus ½ inch for my seam allowance on each end, that's 31 inches. But what I notice is that I'm off by a few inches. Now, why is that? It's because 8 of these 4-inch box pleats measure out to 32 inches. And that just won't do for a 30-inch waist. Then you try 3 inches and you find out that 3-inch box pleats equal 24 inches, and that's too small. And then 3½ inches, and then 3¼ inches, and the frustration just goes on and on. That's because we are starting with the size of the box pleat. Now, starting with the size of the box pleat will work if you're trying to determine just how much yardage of fabric you will need. I'll show you exactly how to do that at the end. But first, I'm going to show you just how to create my perfect box pleats every time. First, I start with my waist measurement. And for this example, I'm going to use a 30-inch waist measurement. I'm going to divide it by 4 because I want to determine 4 quadrants or 4 sections. And that is my side seam to my center front, then my center front to my side seam, next my side seam to my center back, and then my center back to my side seam. So now I have 4 sections. So I want to divide my waist size by 4, and I get 7.5. Now if I want 2 pleats on each section, I will need to divide the width of my sections by 2. So 7.5 divided by 2 equals 3.75. Now you might be wondering, where is that on my ruler? Well, let's take a look at my handy dandy ruler and I'll show you. It's right here. If you're following along and you used a different waist measurement, you can still easily find the decimal on this ruler. And you can get the ruler in the link. So now all of the box pleats is going to have a pleat depth of 3.75 or 3 3/8 of an inch. I'd like to take a moment to ask you to please like and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so, and please hit the bell because you'll be reminded every time I do a video that's just for you. Now let me stop here and explain to you one more mechanic to the box pleat. Every box pleat can be one of 2 kinds. You can have a full depth pleat or a shallow box pleat. And a lot of sewers that I've taught didn't know that, but it's true. And now you know. And here's how it works. When you have already constructed your garment to the point where you need to add your pleats, like in the case of a full circle skirt with a double waist, that is when a shallow pleat will always work. The pleat depth is exactly the width that you want it, and the underfold is shallow, and everything comes out perfect. Trust me. Now I promised that I would tell you how to calculate the amount of fabric needed for whatever number of pleats that you want. So first, the width of your pleat is important. You need to measure the width of your pleat. For example, 4 inches. Multiply that by 2, we get 8. Next, multiply this by the number of pleats that you desire. So 8 pleats times 8 is 64. Now add your waist measurement. For example, 64 plus 30. So the fabric requirement will be 94 inches. Since 1 yard equals 36 inches, then we will need 2.6 yards. Keep in mind that fashion fabric is folded, so if you are not making a floor length skirt, then you can probably do 1.5 to 2 yards. Okay everyone, I hope this tutorial was helpful. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.